So classic mat flow today, we're actually going to start seated facing towards the front. Now I know it's still kind of early and we haven't done anything yet, so if our hamstrings are a little tight this morning, that's okay. Let your knees bend. We're going to try to open them up just a little bit. And I want to focus a little bit on our breath work and sort of start to warm up the body with our breath work. So drawing those legs together, I am going to reach behind me and kind of grab my bottom and try to pick it out from underneath me so that I really try to feel the drop in my hips and my pelvis. So if your hamstrings are a little tight, go ahead and kind of let those knees bend. That's just fine. Hopefully as we get moving through today, we'll open up the hips and we'll stretch a little bit. Let's reach our arms forward. Go ahead and take a little bit of an inhale at the top. Now exhale, feel almost like somebody's going to grab your hands and they're pulling you up and forward over your hips, over your quads, over your thighs. Take a stretch. Here's your hamstrings. Good morning. Here's your inhale. And exhale, start to stack your spine back up. We're kind of going to massage it that way. So we're not static. Think of movement. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, fold. And then start to press it back up. Inhale, up and over. Lengthening, try to keep your tailbone down. So as I'm folding forward, I'm careful not to bring my hips. And then exhale, I push my spine back up. Maybe we start to make it a little bigger. Maybe we find a little inhale extension. Up and over, flexion. And then exhale, press the abdominal wall back up. Last two. Folding forward, reaching, and then pushing through the spine back up. See if you can get a stretch through the back of your neck. Up and over, big stretch, big stretch. And stack it all the way back up. Both arms reach straight forward. Inhale up. Now exhale, turn to the right, opening your arms out to a T. Let's just check out morning rotation. Inhale. And exhale, twist. Again, move with your breath. Think of every inhale as one direction, and then every exhale kind of switches. You can bend those knees a little bit if you need to. Let's start to add just a little bit of some pelvic work here. So we reach up on the sharp edge of our sit bones, turn, and start to curl down. Inhale to reach up, and exhale, curl down. Inhale to reach up. Not very far. Just start to rock the pelvis a little bit. Inhale up. And exhale. Inhale up. And exhale. My legs are starting to work because as I move my upper body back an inch, I've got to anchor through my heels and hold on to my bottom. Let's do once more each way. And lift. And lift. Let's make it a full circle. Lift up, tip up and forward towards your toes. Take your stretch. As you start to pour yourself backwards, tip the wheel of your pelvis, reach back and lift up, forward and fold. As you start to pour yourself backwards, turn to the left, reaching back and lift and forward fold. So we've added that right arm reaching back adds weight. Now suddenly from back here, you have to lift back up through center and fold. And pouring yourself backwards. I'm visualizing a little bit like a boat. In the swells, you're reaching. Big up and over, big swells. Little boat. Last one to the left. Curling back. Reaching. All the way back forward, last stretch, and then slowly stack yourself back up. Bend at your knees. Keep your feet just a little bit farther from your bottom than what maybe is normal, right? So it's not going to be tight today. Let's try to squeeze our legs together. Take your inhale. Let's come back to the rock. And inhale, pull. And exhale, rock. So, since we're focused on our legs today, can you squeeze the space between your legs and really focus on almost like no light between your thighs. For me, that turns on my adductors. 4. Last 3. Almost there. Last 2. And last 1. Curl to position. Hold. Pull your waist in. You can always grab behind your thighs if you need to, right? A little bit of closed loop. Find that support if you need it. Pull your right leg up and place it back down. Pull your left leg up and place it back down. Visualize a little bit that you're curling into a ball. You're pulling from those deep hip flexors, abdominal wall, and pull, and place. Last 4, and place. 3, and place. Give me 2. Keep pulling the wheel of your pelvis towards you. Last 1, and place. Curl it all the way back up. Take a little lift at your top. Woo. Let's widen our legs, mats distance apart. I'm going to sit in the middle. So from here, let's add and come back to that rotation, working our posture muscles just a little bit. We'll find our saw. Let's go ahead and bring those hands behind us. I like this variation because I like to find a moment of extension, like a day at the beach. Just feel like you're sitting there, lifting your heart up. Can you push energy down into your hands just a little bit? So careful that you don't start to look like this at the beach, right? But we actually want to feel like, okay, how do I push energy away to lift up through my heart? Careful you're not just pinching your low back. Think of upper thoracic extension. Now let's start to shift our weight to the right just a little bit to float that left arm up. Just see what that feels like. Careful you don't fall into that right shoulder. But feel like someone's grabbed your left hand and they're pulling you up. And then circle it back down. Find your balance through center and lift that right arm up. Just see what that feels like today. Reaching through those fingertips. A little alternating back and forth, right? You can stay here. You can really focus on keeping that balance. Or if you want, feel like your right arm is going to start to pull you up. You're going to turn towards the left, and you're going to stretch towards your left pinky toe. Ooh. Then that left hand comes back down, right arm floats back up, right arm comes down. Yes, good, big circle. Left arm floats up. And like someone grabbed your left hand, and it starts to pull you up through center. You're looking towards the right now. Yes. And your left finger, left hand saw off your right pinky toe. Back up. Through center, left arm lifts. Let's do that once more each way. Lift up out of your hips, out of your waist, and visualize like someone's actually dragging you forward at the same time that someone's grabbed your left hand and it's pulling you back, right? So again, your body's stretching in 2 different directions. Always, always finding space in between your joints, lengthening and elongating your muscles. Let's come all the way back up through center. Both hands are going to come back. Take a moment to lift your heart. Now a little bit of a challenge. Start to bring yourself forward like you're lifting up off of your fingers. Circle those arms forward. Good. Let's see just range of motion for our arms again. Let's circle them back. Reaching through those fingertips. Start to lean back. Don't let go. And find that lift. Right, again, so this is a little bit of control, reaching those fingertips forward, and then pulling back, reaching back, not letting go, and lift. It's almost like a hinge. Let's just do that once more. You're going to come up off of the back, so I feel my deep hip flexors again. My quads are starting to fire up just a little bit. Last one, reaching through those fingertips, lifting through the head, neck, chest, and then carefully come all the way off. I'm going to turn to my right. I'm going to come down onto my right elbow today. Options, you guys can fly all the way down onto your bicep or stay lifted with me. This depends wherever you're at, right? So from here, try to lift up out of your right shoulder. Again, sometimes like a day at the beach, we want to relax. I want you to think, how am I going to push energy down into my elbow to lift through my waist? My legs are kicked slightly forward. Option here, hand can come in front onto your hip, or if you want, behind your head. I'm gonna push my head into my hands just a little bit. So I've just taken away my base of support, right? So I only have one elbow and the right side of my leg and my hips. So from here, lift through the heel and lower. Now I am only gonna come just a little higher than the height of my hip, right? So it's not a huge kick. And let's have everybody flex through the heel and really reach the heel away from your bottom. Can you feel your hamstring turn on again? Can you feel just that little bit of lift along the back of your thigh? Good. And last two. And last one. Now lift the leg up, hold. Let's point through the foot and externally rotate. I want you to think that you're going to pull your elbow to the knee and then reach back out. Knee to the elbow and reach back out. So a little bit of a side crunch here. Careful that you don't sink into that right shoulder. Pull and reach. So yet again, we're curling into that tight ball and we're thinking, how much can I pull my knee into my chest? 4. And reach. Last 3. And reach. Give me 2. And reach. Almost there. Last 1. Reach, hold. We're going to add on just a little bit. That left arm is going to lengthen, and now we're actually going to turn. So I want you to think that your upper body is going to turn down towards the floor. Left arm is reaching, right leg is long, right? Now from here, you're going to pull elbow and knee in front of your body. And then turn and reach. Yep, elbow and knee in front of your body. Good. And turn and reach. So we're adding a little bit of rotation here. So it's not a side crunch anymore. It's almost like if you were standing upright or running across the field, it would be like high knees. Last 4. Good. Give me 3. Think of this as work for your shoulder, balancing if you're on that. If you took that option. And also, can you keep the height of your leg the same? Last 2, right? It's going to start to droop. I want you to stay lifted. And last one, you're going to reach forward and hold. Little pulses, both arm and leg kick up. 8, 7, 6, 5. Stay out of that right shoulder. 4, 3. Last 2. And 1. Carefully, let's roll through center. We're going to keep going down now to lying prone. Legs are going to lengthen beside you. You may feel lopsided. We did just work one side of the body and not the other one yet, but we'll come back to it, so don't worry. So just check in with sort of how that feels, the right versus the left, if we're tight in anywhere. Let's reach through the legs. With our legs, let's go ahead, draw them together. Again, like you're going to squeeze all the air out from between your thighs. And lift your legs up and lower down. Lift your legs up and lower down. So for me, I really want to focus on that little smile line of my seat, right? So I'm careful not to kick my knees. That's very different. I want to think, how is the whole length of my leg floating up off of the mat as though the eyes of my hip crease could lengthen. Last 2. Last 1, let's lift and hold. Now from here, I want you to squeeze the legs together, and then I want you to open just a little bit. Squeeze the legs together, and I want you to open just a little bit. Squeeze. So you are still lifted, keeping them up the whole time, pulling the inside of your leg line tight together. And this is where you really have to recruit the abs, otherwise you might pinch it up into your low back. So lengthen your lumbar spine. Last 2. Reach the space between your first and second toe. Last 1. And then soften everything down. Let it go. Widen your legs, finding like an external rotation. So now they're a little bit more on the diagonal behind me. I'm still slightly lifted. You can rest that head all the way down or stay on those elbows if you want. So from here, strong straight legs in like a Pilates V or a wide second. Reaching, start to lift, both legs and lower. Now carefully, don't just like kick it up into your low back, right? But feel like you're lengthening that lumbar spine, lifting the layers of abdominals, and then kicking the legs up, right? Reaching the space between the first and second toe. Now I have more of a natural external rotation, so this is so much easier for me. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna like just coast, right? So I'm still gonna work Last 3. Give me 2. Last 1, we're going to lift up, hold. Again, check into that low back. Careful you don't pinch it. You're going to bend the knees to kiss, and then you're going to stretch the legs straight. Bend the knees to kiss, and stretch the legs straight. So lengthen that low back. I am actually starting to feel it creep up just a little bit, so I really am going to try to recruit my abs just a little bit deeper. Feel like I'm going to lengthen my low back by turning the wheel of my pelvis. Last 3. And try to keep that work into my glutes, my thighs, my hamstrings. Last 1, little squeeze, hold, little pulses straight up. 8, 7, 6. Note this does not come from your back, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and soften and release. Whew, good work. Bring the hands along beside you. Let's slowly start to bend through the knees. Shift your weight back. Take a little stretch. Open up through your seat. If it feels good, walk both hands over to the right. Take an inhale. And then maybe walk both hands over to the left. Take an inhale. Carefully start to wave your spine forward. We're going to flow through our wave, moving from a tabletop to a child's pose, through tabletop to a plank, so a modified plank here. So hands maybe are slightly in front of you. Just kind of see how that feels, and start to shift your weight forward and back. So if this is too much on your knees, you can bring a foam roller or double up on your mat. Right? We won't be here too long. I just want to get a little bit of shoulder work in again. And I want us still to think of recruiting our abdominals. So right away, you might start to sense that in order to shift that weight forward, you got to bring the shoulder work in, right? One thing that I see a lot in plank is that our hips are like still lifted. So I want you to visualize you're almost going to like drop your pubic bone, lift the layers of abdominals, and draw a strong straight line from the top of your head to your tailbone, right? And then shift that back. We'll start to make it maybe just a little bit bigger and move kind of between those two ends, stretching all the way back into that modified child's pose, and then lifting back forward. So as you shift the weight back, I want you to think I'm going to round through my spine. Like I'm going to turn my tailbone down towards the floor. Now, like someone scooped the wheel of your pelvis, starts to push you forward like a wave. Starting deep at sea, you wave your spine forward over your shoulders, lift through your heart, lift your gaze like you're crashing up on the shore, and then start to pull, recede back to sea, drawing your hips and your weight back towards your heels. Let's again do that just a couple more times. Wave through your spine. See if you can still find that intervertebral movement, that stretch, that mobility that we find with bridge. And stretching. Let's do twice more. Waving through the spine, shifting that weight forward. So I'm going to move even a little bit from a plank to a little extension. Careful not to pinch my low back, and careful not to slide the shoulders up towards my ears, right? I'm still pushing energy into my arms, lifting up out of my wrists, out of my elbows, out of my shoulders to lengthen the front of my body, and carefully shift it all the way back through center. Swing your legs over towards the left. We're going to come all the way down onto our left side. Legs will kick in front. And again, we'll stay lifted, if you're game for that, on your left side. Now this is my weaker side, and I can tell you right away that this shoulder is going to want to internally rotate. So I have to work really hard to pull it back and down and hold it from under here. So from here, hand can hold onto the mat, hold onto your hip, or hold on to the back of your head. Push your head into your hand just a little bit if you're there to stay lifted. And from here, flex through your foot and kick it up and lower down. Right? So feel like the heel is longer than the front of your body. Right? So the back of your leg is long. I'm going to try really hard to keep my shoulders back and down. I'm just not as strong on this side. So I'm going to try to recruit my left obliques, my lats, stabilize through that shoulder. Last one, we're going to kick up, hold. Now externally rotate, point through the foot, pull, and reach, and pull. Now on this side, I'm adding just a little bit of a lift through my left obliques to help lift up out of that left shoulder. So I'm picturing like a little rainbow on my left side, lifting. Last 4, and reach, and 3, and reach, almost there. Last 2, and reach, lift up out of that left side. Last 1, and reach, hold. Strong right arm, say out of your left shoulder, you're gonna turn, right? And then I'm gonna turn back towards you, bringing my knee and my elbow together. Yeah, so it's more in front of you on this side. And then turn. Ooh, this is a lot of work for my left shoulder today. So, tells you a little bit about my imbalance. That my right leg is pretty strong, my right shoulder is pretty strong, but my left waist and my left shoulder do not want to carry their weight today. That's okay. I'm going to keep working through it. Last 4, staying out of that left shoulder. Give me 3. Pull back to center. And last 2, reaching. Pull back to center. Almost there. Last 1, reaching on a diagonal. Hold, lift up out of that left shoulder. Pulses up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then soften. And release. Continue to roll through center. Coming back down. Lying prone again. Let's work on our upper body just a little bit. So from here, strong, straight arms are going to reach forward. Relax those shoulders back and down. Lift up through the upper body just a little bit. And for me, it's like I'm just going to look at the top of my mat. Take a breather. From here, before we worked on our extension and our single arm lift, right? Same thing, except now we're lying prone. We aren't seated on our tailbone, right? So from here, with minimal movement, start to lift through your right arm, and then place it back down, and then through the left. So just lifting the weight of your arm alone might be work, right? That is a lever load. We don't have weights in our hands, but our arm still does weigh something, and we've got to lift that from deep at your shoulder, abdominal connection. As you lift that right arm, start to sense how does it connect with your left foot. And then place it back down. As you lift the left arm, how does it connect with your right foot, right? So draw that diagonal sling from fingers to toes along the back of your body and reach. Alternating. I'm adding my leg with it just for a little bit more work. Reaching arms and legs, feeling that connection. Careful not to pinch into my low back. Last one each. And then soften back down. Let's take just a little breather. If it feels good, you can always kind of bend and rock, bend the knees and rock the hips from side to side if that feels good, if that gets a little bit tight sometimes. Come back through center. We're going to go ahead and add a rotation. So let your legs lengthen and place them where it feels comfortable for you. That may be a slight external, that may be parallel, whatever feels good. Arms are going to reach forward, shoulders back and down. Lift up for me just a little bit. Find that baby extension again. Lift your right arm up, hold. Look at your right thumb. And start to lift up out of your left shoulder as you rotate and look towards the right as it reaches towards your heel. And then back through center. Right hand comes down, left arm lifts up. I am pushing down into my right arm just a little bit. I feel my right lats, my right waist, and then back through center and back down. Big rotation. We've been working on some of these, right? So how are you connected to your left side to rotate the right side open? Stay long through that low back. Careful you don't pinch it. Turning. Let's do once more each way. Both sides come down and turning. We're trying to open up our chest. Hands come down. Last one left. And then back through center, hands come down. Carefully bring those hands along beside you. If it feels good, wave through the spine, shifting the weight back. Find a child's pose to stretch open that lumbar spine. Let's take just a couple nice big breaths here. Try to let go of the weight of your head. Take an inhale. And exhale completely. Last one, inhale. And exhale completely. From here, carefully start to press yourself back. I'm going to flex through my feet, and I'm going to shift back onto my feet so that my weight is heavy towards my heels. And I'm kind of getting another little bit of a stretch here. Take your inhale. Exhale, start to push energy down into your heels to press your hips up. Strong, straight legs. Tug the wheel of your pelvis. Slowly start to stack your spine. One vertebra at a time. Find your inhale. Now exhale, pull your abdominal wall in and up as you dance. Roll forward and slowly start to walk your hands out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Find your plank, right? This can be kneeling if you want. That's totally fine. Try to lift through your heart just a little bit. If you're in kneeling, you'll still lift the abdominals, walk yourself back. You'll just stay in a kneeling position. If you want, you walk yourself all the way back to that forward fold. And last one, walk it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Widen your collarbones. This can be kneeling. And then walk it back to that tabletop or that forward fold, right? Slowly start to walk yourself all the way back out. Take a big stretch here. Inhale. Now exhale, walk your feet back up from underneath you. You're going to lift those hips up. Walk your feet forward to the front of the mat. Take a little forward fold. Start to bend through the knees. Slowly start to lower yourself back. This is the hard part. Here's that ball again. Can you sit down? Whoop. Carefully. But yes, very nice. Good. Reaching through those fingertips. Let's slowly start to pour ourselves all the way back down. One more big stretch. Lifting up and over through those fingertips. Let's open the arms out to a T. Drop the weight of the legs to the left as you look to the right. And then back up through center. Drop the weight of the legs to the right as you look to the left. Carefully come back up through center, reaching your arms up towards the ceiling. Here's your inhale. Exhale, slowly start to curl yourself all the way up. You can grab behind the legs if you need to pick yourself all the way up. Circle it and stretch if that feels good. Take just a moment here. Kind of melt through that upper body. See if you can lengthen that lumbar spine just a little bit more. And exhale each time. Feel like you're going to lift your stomach off of your quads and really arch your low back. Right? Not just your neck, not just your shoulders. Last one. Exhale, lift your waist. Slowly let go of your ankles. Start to press yourself all the way back up. Grow tall towards the ceiling. I'm still lifting. I'm still lifting all the way up. Whew. Good work. Carefully turn back towards the front. Thank you so much. That's class. Nice full body workout today. Good flow. Thanks for trying a couple new positions.